Y'all, I had to really calm down because, see, the video that I just did, I was screaming at the top of my lungs for like 10 minutes. And I can't do that this video. I can't do that because I have points that I need to make. I do not care about the whole situation with Karen. Karen, that is your husband. Y'all together. So if he needed the money, y'all needed the money. That's number one. I didn't get to hear the whole situation about Ashley because I went to the store, whatever. But I heard that she was trying to defend it and act like nothing happened. Ashley, your husband is trifling. Your husband needs help. Your husband needs to go to therapy. Let's get on to the whole rumor thing. Now, this is what I've been trying to say about this whole situation. First of all, when I remember Candace saying when they went out to that dinner and it was talking about, in her confession, she was talking about the whole situation with Sharice, and she said out her mouth, she said, I didn't think it was that big of a deal because that happened years ago. And then she and Monique herself said on this show that this particular situation has been going on for about 2 years. So you're telling me that this is a rumor that came up 2 years ago. In some way, somehow, it's still relevant and prevalent, and you know what I mean. It's still relevant and something that you want to fucking talk about now. I don't get that, okay? That I don't get. I don't even understand how a rumor. I don't understand how a rumor can go on for that long. I'm gonna get there. I'm going to get there, okay? Now, Monique says that her best friend Gigi was trying to get on the show, and the way that she did that was that she called Sharice. Oh, thank you. She called Sharice. Babe, get the hell out, because I'm not in the mood. Her best friend Gigi called Sharice to tell her business, okay? To tell the whole rumor about Chris, about her cheating on Chris with the trainer, okay? And Gigi pretty much used Sharice to get an end to pretty much tell everybody else. So Ashley got text messages about what happened. Karen, everybody on the cast pretty much got that information from Sharice. Gigi was the one who started everything, right? But they all got the information via Sharice. That's pretty much how everything got out, right? And so then Monique says that Karen called her and told her that after Andy's baby shower, that there was allegedly a conversation between Giselle, Robbins, and some other people where it was said that they were going to try to make a plot on the show about not only like her cheating on her husband or her trainer, but the fact that her son was not hers. Now, Karen says that the reason she found out she was not there is that Candace called her and told her that. Now, there's also a video out of Candace being on her live and saying that there was a conversation about that and how she felt uncomfortable. Now, let me keep going. But this is the point about all of that. This is the point. This is the biggest point I've been trying to make about this whole situation. Andy said it out his mouth. Okay, I understand all of that happened. I get all of that. But none of that was a plot or a storyline on this show. It was not. And that's what I want everybody to keep understanding. Yes, I understand that is something fucked up. It's not cool. It's not cool at all. But like somebody said on Twitter, I wish I had the screenshot in front of me, but like somebody said, if Monique would have just addressed this shit head on versus dipping and dodging and ducking and da-da-da-da-da, then we wouldn't even be here. You should have addressed it head on and not tried to hide behind whatever the hell the rumor was. And like I said on my last video, one of the main problems I'm having with the Real Housewives is the bullshit that goes on behind the scenes and never makes it to the show. Because like I said before, if you are not on Twitter, if you are not even on Twitter, if you do not pay attention to the Real Housewives outside of the show, you would have no idea about this. I didn't even know about this being a quote. I didn't even know about the whole plot about them setting up. I didn't even know that until last week when the reunion came on and I heard other people online talking about it. So that's enough. So I think what Andy was pretty much trying to make the point of, which I was making the point of, is like, Monique, you low-key made this shit a bigger deal. You made it a bigger deal because it wasn't even something that was on the show. Yes, Giselle did kind of sort of talk about it, but you were the one. Let's remember this. let's remember, Monique was the one who came on the show and said that she had a problem with Charisse. Okay, she had a problem with Candace inviting Charisse to her party because she had a quote unquote issue with her. You are the one who brought that up. What you could have did, what you and Robin even brought up a good point when Monique was like, oh well, you could have gave me a heads up, and you could have told me so that I could mentally prepare myself for her being there. Which Monique, they got your ass in two ways. Because number one, Robin made a good point. Why do you have to mentally prepare for Charisse? Like what does that even mean? What do you mean you have to mentally prepare for her? If the girl is there, then the girl is there. And if you in that episode, let's be real, Monique, if you would have paid that woman no mind in that episode, if you would have paid her absolutely no mind, and you would have went about your business, you would have never had a reason to even sit in production and that be a topic of conversation, and it wouldn't be nothing for Giselle to even have to say, because it wouldn't be nothing to talk about. It would be absolutely nothing to talk about. And I'm sorry, but again, Monique, this is where they got you again. They showed the picture because a viewer brought up a question and said, well, 9 months ago we seen you in a picture standing next to Charisse, not just standing next to her, but holding Charisse at, I forgot who it is, baby shower. So why would Candace think that it's gonna be an issue for her to come there if you can stand in the picture with her, next to her, and take the picture and everything? She's like, oh, well, I mean, at that event, I didn't say anything to her. I just took the picture because it was a picture for the Real Housewives, and this, that, and the third. It wasn't that big of a deal. Nah, Monique, I'm sorry. I call bullshit on that. I call bullshit. So let me get this right. You can't go to your friend's party and ignore a bitch, but you can go to a party and take a picture with it. Not even just take a picture with her. You were dead ass standing there right next to her with your hand around her waist. So again, I'm very confused too. If I was Candace, I would be confused too. I don't understand where the animosity, because clearly you have been in a room with her before, right? You've clearly been in the room with her before and it not been an issue. So why is it an issue now? And again, you made it an issue when you didn't have to. The best way to deck this rumor was to never even give it life in the first place. And you gave it life by acknowledging it. That's the thing. And the thing is, if you was gonna acknowledge it, you should acknowledge it flat out. When they asked you in that confessional, what was the rumor? You should have put it out there, especially if it's true that Giselle and them was behind the scenes doing dumb shit. You should have just said flat out on camera, these hoes was around here trying to make up lies and try to say that my son was not my husband's, and I'm not here for it. I don't fuck with Charisse, but I don't fuck with Charisse for that. I don't fuck with none of these hoes for that. You should have just put it out there on Front Street versus letting all of this other little shit simmer and come here and come here and come there and come there and come there. And like I said, the main point I think that Andy was trying to bring up is that low key, Monique, you made this a bigger deal. You made this a plot line of the season, because off of this show, all you have been doing is running up and down fucking YouTube and this channel and this channel and this channel, talking about this whole situation when we didn't even know. None of us knew that this has been going on for 2 years, and we all are just now finding out about this. You should have kept your mouth shut, or if you want to tell the story, tell the whole story, but don't half-ass it. Don't half-ass it. And then don't turn around and try to make it seem like everybody else was trying to use it as like people was using it on the show to bring it up. Sorry. Don't try to make it seem like it was such a big point of contention on this show. It was not. Now, maybe that's what they tried to do, but that's not what happened. This whole damn season had really nothing to do with that. The only reason we know is because of you running your mouth behind the scenes. That's the only reason we know. And I'm sorry, I had to agree with Andy when he kept freaking saying that. Like, you don't get it. It was never a plot on this show. We only know about it because of the behind the scenes that you were doing. That's a fact of the matter. That's a fact. And I'm not trying to take Giselle away, because Giselle is absolutely messy. And I absolutely believe that she sat at a dinner and had a conversation about that. But as far as it being on the show, we have to remember how this shit was brought up. Okay? And no shade, but people keep bringing it up, and it's a good point. Monique, maybe this is a little bit of retribution from when you, a couple seasons ago, tried to bring on Sherman's ex-wife to the show. I'm just saying, was it cool when you did it? Or was that not just your friend? Okay, alrighty, cool, whatever, whatever. So then we get to the fight or whatever, and it was brought up that, they brought up the fact, somebody brought up the whole scene at the fire pit when they was at Monique's house or whatever, and how Monique had pretty much started with her or whatever, and she admitted, I will give her kudos for that. She admitted that at the time there was a whole bunch of built up emotions. Well, she didn't have to admit that because we all seen it. That's why, we'll get to it. We all said, anybody who has watched this show and you have like eyes and you're like, I don't know, unbiased about the whole situation and you can see both sides, everybody understands that Monique for the most part put her hands on Candace outside of the old this. She was waiting to put her hands on Candace because, like she even said herself, you had built up emotion and rage and all of that you did not communicate with her. Okay, so you was taking it out on her on every way that you can, and I do agree with Candace because we all said it in the beginning of this season. Every time Monique could find a reason to comfort Candace, she was doing it. She was doing it. That part Candace was not lying on. That's a fact. Anytime that Monique could find a reason to come at Candace for something, she did, because she wasn't being honest with her about how she felt. She was just keeping it to herself, and that's on her. That's on her. Okay, that's on her. And so, um, and now Monique also wants to admit that, when it comes to the whole thing about her putting her hands on her, oh, no, I admit that I was triggered and I'm trying to figure out what it is in me that made me trigger, that it made me trigger or whatever. And like I said before, with the whole thing with the footage and stuff, I don't know why everybody's online talking about some, oh yeah, the receipts prove everything Monique said is true. No, it doesn't. What it did prove is that when she said that, when Candace went like this to her, she did do that. And everybody on the stage was saying that she didn't. Well, Giselle, your dumb ass wasn't paying attention. But Candace absolutely did do that. But everything else that Monique tried to say, that was not true. She keeps trying, and I think this is probably one of the main problems that Candace has, is that you keep trying to make it seem as if, I don't really know, because it feels like two ways. It feels like on one end Monique is trying to say, oh, well, I'll put my hands on her because she got in my face like this, but then you're also trying to say, oh, well, I did that because she hit me with the glass. And we all have said she did hit you with the glass, but that was after. It was a reactionary thing. She did not hit you with the glass first and then you put your hands on her. And she's talking about some, oh, it happened at the same time. No, it did not. It looked like it happened at the same time, but you put your hands on her first, and in reaction she hit you with the glass. And what I don't want to hear is, oh, well, you could have hurt me. You do not put your hands on me and then try to tell me how I have to react. You don't do that. And you're dumb to me for even putting your hands on somebody when they have something that dangerous in their hands. That's like if she really had that, if she still had that knife in her hand or whatever, and you would have put your hands on her. Then if she would have cut you, then she would have been wrong. No, she wouldn't have been wrong. You do not put your hands on somebody and then get mad with how they react. How they react is how they react. Y'all want to talk about some, oh, you get into somebody's face and it is what it is. Well, the same thing applies. Once you do cross that line and you put your hands on somebody, if I pick up a chair and I go offside your head, I don't give a fuck. I don't care if all you did was pull my hair. I hit you over the head with a chair because you came for me. Because you came for me. Period. Period. So it's very annoying to keep hearing her say, oh, well, she did throw the glass at me after the fact. After you put your hands on her. After you put your hands on her. I really need her to sit in that. And it's like she will never, I think that's what bothers me the most. You won't sit in that one little fact right there. That yes, she did, but it was a reactionary thing. She did not hit you with the glass first and then that's not how it went. And my thing is, you could even admit to the fact, because even when they show the tape back and it shows that that somebody pushed her, which it was Giselle, and I do believe Giselle when Giselle said she was doing it to stop her. I believe her, because it was the way that she pushed her. She was like, oh, stop, like, stop. Even when they ran the tape back, you hear Monique say, oh, I thought that was Candace. So my thing is, Monique, which one is it? Did you hit her because she put her hands into your face? Did you hit her because she hit you with the wine glass? Or did you hit her because you thought that she pushed you? Which one? I'm waiting to find out which one it was. Which one is it? Which one is it? I'm so freaking annoyed. I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed. And so, And this is not to take away any onus on Candace, because Candace was getting on my nerves when she kept making little snap remarks. Every time Monique got some shit to say, you don't have something, you don't got it. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, because you can barely even talk without. Like, you can't even barely talk. So just stop running your mouth. Stop. That is part of your problem. You do run your mouth so much. So you need to shut up. You're not going to say it to her face, so stop with the fucking side comments. You're not going to say it to her face, so stop with the side comments, Candace. Just shut up. Just shut up. Just shut. I cannot wait for the, bro. I can't wait for the season to be over, because everybody is getting on my nerves. Candace is getting on my nerves because she wants to act like everybody keeps saying, you want to act like you so damn traumatized, and maybe you are, but I don't care, and I don't want to hear about it no more. And Monique's lack of accountability in certain aspects of this is pissing, or the selective accountability, should I say, is pissing me off. Okay, now Andy goes on to ask Candace, like pretty much how she feels about the whole situation. And Candace pretty much said that she didn't watch, the fight until months after, because it was outside of her being embarrassed, because she didn't say that she was embarrassed. She was. But I really do believe that it's not just the fact that she got dragged. I really do think that she's upset because that was her friend. I really do believe that that's part of why she is so upset. They were super close, and that is upsetting for you to like physically fight your, like, somebody that was you were really close to, and then you doing it on TV and for the whole world to see. That is a lot. And I do agree to a degree with Giselle when she said, everybody, you can't, although I said that I'm annoyed with Candace and I want her to stop, you can't tell somebody when to get over something. That is on them. And although it was a year ago, remember, they shoot this stuff a year ago, but then you got to bring all this shit back up because you got to watch it again, and then we got to talk about it again. So I could only imagine how frustrating that is, probably a little bit. But what Candace was saying, the main thing I think that bothered her, and like I said, that bothered me, is the fact that before the season came out, we had all heard about the fight, and the reports going around at the time was that Candace threw wine and threw a glass in Monique's face, and that's why Monique went and attacked her. And what Candace was saying is that it bothers me that for a whole year you let that story run, and not once did you come out and try to say that's not what happened. Now, I get it on two parts. On one part, I do understand what Candace is saying, because the whole season, before the season even came out, before people seen anything, everybody believed that shit about Candace. And even now, people watch it back and still say it's true when that's not what happened. She did not throw wine in her face, and that's how the fight started. That's not what happened. So I understand her being upset about that and feeling like, damn, you could have at least said something. But at the same time, you was taking her to court. You was trying to sue her. So me coming out and trying to have your back is me doing what? Like, for what? You get what I'm saying? She could have, but I see why she didn't at the same time. This shit is a hot ass mess. I can't wait till this shit is over. And Andy was on Monique's ass. He was, rightfully so. Rightfully so. I'm sorry, because I just feel like a lot of y'all just, her annoying. Like, y'all can't even, again, I can see where both parties were wrong. I can see where Candace was wrong, but to me, Monique was wronger, because it was a combination of things. Yes, this is how I look at it. When it comes to the whole fight, when it comes to Candace, when I say this is an isolated event, I mean that situation was an isolated thing where she might have gotten her face a little bit, but they both were doing it. The difference to me is that, Monique, you had been sitting on those feelings. That's why I think a lot of people say, Monique, we would respect you more, and I would, if you would just come out and say, like you said earlier, when I went off on her at the pit, I was like, whoa, I was doing a lot because I had a lot of animosity, against her. I would respect you more if you just said, you want to know what? The reason I fought her is because, yes, I was triggered by her hand, but in all reality, I've been waiting to beat this bitch's ass because I feel some type of way that she would befriend somebody, that did such a thing to me. I would respect Monique more if she would just sit in that. Just say you had a lot of animosity towards this girl, and instead of me talking to her and sitting down with her and communicating with her, I let all of that shit build up and I took it out on her when I had an opportunity. Why can't she just say that? Why can't she just say that and we all move on? And why can't Candace just sit up there and admit that you didn't necessarily provoke her, but you were part of the issue. You should have never got in her face. Like when she talked to her therapist, you should have walked away. Like she been did. Like when they was sitting there at the fire pit, you got up and you walked away. You should have walked away because that's the thing. You knew she was waiting for a moment. So why'd you give it to her? Why'd you give it to her? You knew she was waiting for a moment. Why you give it to her then? Where's the accountability? Where is the accountability? It is making me really, really frustrated. And so Andy, pretty much says to Candace gets all emotional and she walks off, and and Andy says to Monique, like, well, like, bitch, like, where's your emotions? Like, she's clearly upset, but Andy, that don't mean anything. She's gonna cry. But I get what he was saying. He was like, so you don't really have like nothing. You just stoic or whatever. And she's like, no, I went through all of the emotions. I'm gonna be real. Monique is hurt. You can tell Monique's feelings. Her feelings are truly hurt. But you want to know what she did? She put up such an emotional wall. That's all that is. It's an emotional wall. If nobody else was in this room and it was just her and Candace, she'd break down and she'd cry. She would break down and she'd cry. Because I know damn well she ain't happy with where they are. I know she's not happy with that situation. I know she's not happy where they are now. She might want to sit up here and act like, oh, I don't care. Oh, I don't care. I'm over it. That's fine. We're not friends. She's not over it. She is upset. She's hurt. Her feelings are hurt. Okay? It's just that Candace shows it more than Monique does. Y'all could be mad if y'all want to about what the fuck I said. Again, I'm holding everybody responsible. Everybody is responsible. Monique's responsible. Candace is responsible. Giselle's definitely responsible. Ashley's responsible. But most importantly, you want to know who you really need to be putting hands and feet on, Monique? Gigi. It's really just when it gets down to that simple. None of this would even be going on if your quote unquote best friend didn't run around running her mouth. So I feel like you should probably take all of that anger out on Gigi. And I understand what the person I was talking to in my comments was saying, but at the end of the day, the way I look at it is, you're mad at all the wrong people. You need to be mad at your friend. None of these hoes would have any of this information if it wasn't for her. So be careful with who you're friends with. Check your circle. Oh, and one more thing I wanted to say. I'm so glad I'm able to bring this up because I forgot. When Andy was going around the room and he was asking, he was like, with you guys like making more money and stuff like that, how does that affect your marriage? So he goes around the room, he gets to Monique and he's like, like, what about you? And she was like, well, this little bit of money I make, that it's pocket change, compared to what Chris makes or whatever. And he says, oh, okay, you mean to compared to what he used to make. Now his portfolio was great. Okay, he has a lot of money, like it's great. And it just really reminded me again. So let me get this right, because you could tell that she was a little bit offended by Andy saying that. So again, it's okay to be on here and flaunting how much money your husband has, but it's not okay for people to flaunt how many degrees that they actually have. I just find it really funny that on this show, y'all sit up here and y'all flaunt y'all wealth, or y'all husband's wealth, should I say, Monique, you in particular. Not even just Monique, Ashley, almost all of y'all got y'all money from y'all husbands, okay? But it's not okay. And y'all flaunt that all the time. Mrs. I got 4 houses and Mrs. Grand Dame. So it's cool for all of y'all to walk around and flaunt how much money y'all have. But it's not okay for Wendy to walk around and talk about how many degrees she has. She talks about her 4 degrees and you talk about your 4 houses. What's the difference? I don't really see the big difference. Just saying. Just saying. But again, I hold everybody responsible. This show gets on my nerves and gives me a headache. I'm out, bye. I'm done.